with Christine Campbell, landholder, about Queensland vegetation management laws. Christine, can you tell us a bit about yourself, your experience of being a landholder in Queensland and the vegetation management laws that accompanied that?
Izzy, I and my family lived on Nord Station in central Western Queensland. It had been in my husband's family since the 1930s. And that is where we lived for 40 years before we sold in 2018.
Okay, and can you describe, so the late 90s to 2012, there were several increments of vegetation management legislation, the last increment of which would have been 2018. So your experience of that sort of progression is valuable in terms of understanding the effect of the law.
Well, if I could go prior, just very briefly, prior to 1990, when the Vegetation Management Act came in 1999, sorry. If you went back to the 50s, where the land was basically leasehold, you were required to clear so much every year. That was actually a requirement that was one of your leasehold requirements. And if you didn't do it, then your lease could be taken off you. So that was fine. Obviously, with the introduction of machinery that could clear land in a sort of a more efficient way, I suppose, the amount of clearing went up until the government decided that they needed to control what was happening on leasehold lands. So they brought in a Land Act, and then they moved through the 1999 Act, moved it onto freehold land. So before that, people thought that they had the right to do what they wanted with their land. And after that, it became obvious that the government was now going to control what was happening on your particular tenure.